don't drink, what up? I got something to say.
Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kiera. Welcome to A Nurse Named Purple Kisses. So we're gonna review Sistas on BET season 3 episode 1. So I'm just gonna pick back up where it left off, okay? So the first scene, we have Andy and Jasmine. They're going back over the gun, fighting over the gun, because remember, she came in and Gary couldn't find his keys, things were missing, they didn't know what happened. Well, Jasmine got it. So she broke into the house. Now at this point, you know, we see where she shot Jerry, not Jerry, what's that crazy man name? Lord, Toxic, Gary. She shot Gary, and I think like 3 times, whatever. Gary falls, okay? Now remember, he falls and he can't get back up, okay? He's like unresponsive, all this stuff, okay? I'm sorry, y'all. It's loud outside. Anyway, so then you see Jasmine, you see Andy, they fighting over the gun, struggling back and forth. Then I think they shoot off a shot, and then they get on the bed, they're tussling. She aims the gun at Andy's face, like they're laying down the bed, and then she pulls the trigger, but I don't know, it didn't misfire. It made like a weird noise, nothing came out, okay? Maybe she ran out of bullets. So at this point, she ends up, before they even started struggling over the gun, she gets up, turns her back to Andy, walks in there to check and make sure that Gary's out. That's when they end up tussling over the gun. But then at that point, when they get finished tussling over the gun, and she's like, oh, like I guess she thought everything was gonna pause. So she stopped, she looking at the gun, she's trying to figure out what's going on. By this time, Andy done had time, as slow as she is, she had time to go get a tray. Honey, she done busted in her face, knocked her out. She goes in there to check on Gary, and Gary's still not bleeding. Keep it in mind, clean, not a blood splatter, nothing. So and it's what I thought it was. So she ends up running out. She ends up going to get help. You know, she's like, okay, you know, she's running to the door, I guess, because the neighbors heard the gunshots. So the police are like, freeze, hold your hands up, put your hands where I can see them. She's like, no, I need him. I need help. My fiance's in the room. He needs help. I need help. I mean, they end up holding her in there. And Jasmine, she was just, when she was in the room going back and forth with Andy, she was just, I mean, pointing out all this stuff. She was like, yeah, I cheated, but whatever. Like, I mean, she was just making Andy cry. Like, Andy was crying like, you was like somebody was whooping her. Like, she was begging. Like, she thought she was about to die. Okay? So, anyway, they cut back to Sabrina's house. You got Jacoby in there. He's still butt naked, standing in the refrigerator, okay? That's so nasty to me. Like, don't put your stuff all in my refrigerator, okay? Come on now. Okay. Anyway, so Sabrina's like, you know, you need to leave. You need to leave. He's trying to explain why he doesn't need, well, you know you want this. You know you want this. And she's like, no, I need you to leave. I need you to leave. I need you to leave. And what gets me with Sabrina is that she is so, like, indecisive. Like, she can't make up her mind. She's not a leader. Like, I have no idea how she's a manager at the branch, because she can't make decisions for herself. She needs to, like, confide in other people all the time. Like, I bet when she goes to buy shoes, she probably has to take like 1,000,000 pictures and send to all her friends before she picks out what pair of shoes she wants. Like, she cannot make up her mind. Like, people like that, I mean, just, if 3 people say it's good, then she think it's good. If 3 people say it's bad, she think it's bad. Like, girl, get you some, you know, just think for yourself. Like, you already done started sleeping with the man. Like, now you mad because Calvin showed up. Like, what does it change? It was just confusing. Oh my gosh. That's why she probably got in trouble when she was helping Andy do all this stuff with that money at the bank last season, or the season before last, one of them. Honey, So she's like, then on the way, like when she's telling him to get out, she's like, wait, that's real large and stuff. I'm just like, you still sending mixed signals. Like, Sabrina just irks me with it. So anyway, then you get to the scene where you got they did cut away. They did show they showed a quick thing of the BN Stadium or whatever in Atlanta. And if you go to Atlanta, there's a really nice hotel over there. I stayed there one night. It was the Reverb, and I think it's by Hard Rock or whatever. It was so nice. It was just, I mean, they had like the big color thing in the wall that changes with the music or whatever. They had a little Alexa in there. I mean, it was just so clean, so nice. I mean, I couldn't find anything wrong with it. They had plenty of toiletries. I mean, just everything. You can go into a room and just get as many toiletries as you want. Like, I mean, they were just, you know, don't be greedy, but you know, it was just nice. The only thing was they hadn't set up their parking lot good yet. They did have security out there. You get self-check-in. They had a bar there. I think it was like a rooftop bar, but it was closed for COVID. But I liked it. So, and it was right outside the stadium. So anyway, I'm gonna let that go. So then we see Danny in the tub with Preston. And then of course, every time Danny gets along with Preston, somebody else has to, like, you know, jump in. So she's in the tub, you know, they're just cuddled up. I mean, just enjoying the moment, okay? Sabrina calls. Like, oh my gosh, like she calls Danny, and Danny already didn't want to answer the phone, okay? And the person's like, go ahead and answer. She answered it. All it is just Sabrina whining, okay? And that was it, really. So then you get back to Andy's house. Well, I guess her and Gary's house, okay? She just crying with the police. She hollering, yelling, doing all this extra stuff. You would not believe that she works in law. The way she acts like she just dingy or something. Like she's new to this. Like, I'm just like, girl, calm down. Tell them what's going to talk to them so you can get there sooner. Like, come on. Lord. So they're like, well, you know, you can't go in the room right now. It's a crime scene. You can't go in there right now. She's like, why is he not at the hospital? Oh my God. I'm just like, girl, come on. You are trying to, like, handle these situations. This is what you specialize in, honey. So she just keeps on yelling, and the police is over it. He just like, I feel sorry for him at one point. I don't feel sorry for Gary. Anyway, so then we see where Zach ends up going to Karen's house. He ends up giving her $5,000. He ends up trying to talk it out with her about what went down. And then Karen had the nerve to confront him about, I want to know, Zach, how long you been talking to her? And I'm just like, girl, y'all not together. That's nobody's fault that you decided to jump his bones in that closet at your job while it's customers outside, okay? You just act like she's so entitled. And then she looked down on Fatima. Girl, don't do that. Don't judge her, okay? Because she got way more things going on. Karen, little attitude, honey. I hate that attitude she has. I mean, I like her, but then it's just that attitude she gets sometimes. Like, I know Zach did wrong. Y'all broke up, girl. You talking to Aaron. Shoot, they done got into it and everything. This man ain't got to stand for you. Okay? So, and she ends up trying to confront him and stuff, and he's just like, you know, he's saying the same things like I'm saying, like, you know, what you mean? Like, she's like, I got a right to know. I have a right to know. And he was like, well, you know, it was just sex that we had. She's like, don't act like that. Don't act like I don't got no right with you. He's like, well, it's just sex. Okay? I mean, I see this episode was probably the episode I think that Zach was most honest in. Like, he really is trying to get over Karen, I think. Like, to me, I mean, he may fool me, but I feel like he's trying to get over Karen. Like, it is hard. They were together for a long time. I mean, he did some trash stuff, and she moved on. Like, stop going back and forth, because it's not going to go anywhere. Like, when you need to leave somebody, you need to stay out of their way for a while. Don't keep coming around to people, because feelings gonna come up. You know, I mean, when you break up with somebody, you need time and space to heal, to get over them and get away from them. Okay, if you gotta move into another town, that's for a later story. Anyway, it's another story. So then we see Danny. Danny gets out the bed with Preston after she put him to sleep. Okay, finally they got a little time. And she calls Sabrina back. Sabrina ain't doing nothing, laying on the bed trying to see who she can get advice from, who gon', you know. So the first thing Danny did, what I think she should did, she was like, look, Sabrina, I got a man, okay? Like, she can't keep on babysitting your feelings. And it's basically what she told her. You know, she was like, oh, you know, I don't want to be like the friend we had in college where she had a good guy, but then she ended up marrying another guy. I guess he was like, you know, kind of rough and stuff. You know, she like her little bad boy. But the thing is, it's not even about liking a good guy. You need to find a balance. And that's what I did. Like, I feel like my husband's just the right mix. Like, he ain't just, you know, he ain't just bugged out, you know. But, you know, he get a little, you know, little gangster, you know. You know, but then he know how to keep it cool and collected and professional. So I like that. That's what she need. Calvin a little bit too soft to where for her. She's just a little bit too soft for her. I mean, with the lace draws and just the crying all the time, like, that's a lot for anybody, okay? But she like him, but she can't take it. Like, sis, what you want? But then you got Jacoby over here. You know, he just all testosterone over there. You know, you think you making him feel like you want him. Like, if you just want to sleep with him, girl, just sleep with him. Like, don't keep on making this man try to make it seem like it's something more. Like, you making things more awkward and hard than what it has to be. Like, she can't make no decisions, child. She can't make no decisions. So then we cut to Fatima. So Fatima's at her house and she is dressed up. I love her dress. She had like a navy little thing going on. It had like the tie in the middle that's like coming down, you know, and she had some little heels on. It was cute. She didn't have on too much makeup, you know. It was just right. So she looked cute. She changed her little hair up and stuff. I said, okay, look at you. Looking like a little cute little dinner. So Zach ends up coming over. And Zach just really opened up to Fatima, you know, and Fatima, she knew it. She just really wanted to play hard, but she knew he was speaking truth. To me, I felt like he was, compared to the other scenes other episodes, he just was playing. And, acting like Jody, okay? So, anyway, he ends up telling her, you know, he's just trying to explain himself to her. Fatima ends up, you know, what did she say to him? She wanted to know why he just didn't tell her. That's what she kept asking him. Why you didn't tell me? Why you just didn't tell me? He was like, because I just didn't want to hurt your feelings. And say, oh, you think I'm hurt? And I'm like, Fatima, come on. Like, you know, I know you want to get it out. Like, I don't blame her. Like, I want to feel it, you know, but you know, you still kind of gotta be like, okay, you know, well, I understand, but it's gonna take her a minute. She gonna come around. She was just making him leave. Like, she's like, you need to leave. And then he ended up leaving. He left the keys on the counter. He left the money. She didn't see it at the time. He left like his part of rent money. He said he owed her. So there's like a knock on the door. It's a dude. His name was Harlan. And I guess the basketball place, what Zach said. And he come in, he's like a velvet jacket on. He had like this loud shirt on, and he was kind of corny a little bit. And Zach was like, oh, okay, I know who you are. Just know that, you know, I used to play ball, but I chose the streets. You know, I'm the reason you got a job today. You know, he had to make a little funny in there. And then she was like, you got that little velvet jacket on. He was like walking out the door, so okay, you can leave. Zach about to leave. And she said like, oh, well, that jacket costs more than all the stuff you got in that bag. I was like, well, you know, truth is the truth. I can't find a lie. So then we see Calvin. Calvin's at Maurice's house. He storms through the door. He busts in. He scares Maurice. Maurice is so extra. And he ends up, just like jumping. He's like, woo, woo, honey, woo. You scared me. You scared me. And he was like, it's your fault. It's your fault. All this is your fault. To my Sabrina, the situation with Sabrina. And he was like, are you gonna beat me? Honey, being freaky, child, okay? And he had to tell him the story about how he went over and he saw Jacoby in there naked in the refrigerator. Okay, so he done gave him the tea. So Maurice can't hold no water, can't hold water in a bucket. Okay, so he gonna go back and repeat that. So he ends up telling him, like, Sabrina's confused, which we know, and she cannot make up her mind. But she's a good person. That's exactly what we just said, ain't it? Just she can't make up her mind. So then Calvin decides, he's like, he picks his keys up, and he's like, Maurice, like, where you going? Where you going? He's like, I'm going back to Sabrina's. So he storms back out. Me, I would have to stop for a minute, like, take a break for me. You just got back off the road. You got through fighting traffic. Now you ready to jump back over there? So he leaves out, and he's like, oh, wait, let me get my wig on. Let me go. So Maurice is hollering, like, let me go. And he slams the door, leaves Maurice there. So then you got, sorry, y'all. I mean, it's hot in Dallas today, but I got this air back on. They had my air cut off for a little while. They come fix it. A little dehydrated. So then anyway, Karen calls. She's trying to call Andy. Andy does not answer. Of course, we know that the police have her phone in there in the room, and they're not letting her back there yet. Then Aaron comes to the door. Aaron is drunk, honey. He is like Eddie Kane off the 5 Heartbeats drunk. Okay? So he's talking to Karen. He's like, I just want you. I can make you feel better than he can. And I've been sitting outside. I've been thinking and stuff. And I could do better. I could do better. So she's like, look, did you drive over here drunk? And he's like, yeah, I did. It's like, you don't need to be doing that. So she go fix him some coffee to kind of bring him up, trying to wake him up. I don't want no coffee. She said, please just sit down. She pleading with him. He sit down. So she goes in the kitchen. She's still talking, just apologize for everything that went down. And little does she know, he in here stripping. He got his little body out. He's sitting there, he in his drawers, drunk as a skunk, okay? He stumbling around, just in his little drawers, little boxer briefs, child. Just, I don't know what he think he about to do because he could barely stand up. Okay, you ain't about to do nothing but fall asleep. So she's like, what are you doing, Aaron? What are you doing? And he's just crying. I mean, just drunk. I mean, he was like, he could make her feel better. And he was like, when she finally just got him to understand she wasn't trying to do this for him right now, he's like, oh, I'm pathetic, huh? I'm pathetic. I'm like, boy, you drop quick. Like, I know he had a lot going on with his wife, killing herself and just the whole thing. But Aaron, I think, at first I kind of felt like maybe he wasn't a good guy, but I think Aaron, I think he's a good guy. I think he needs to get himself together. Like, you can't just jump from being married and your spouse killing themselves, even though she did cheat, to just you with this other person, and then she's just leaving from another person. Like, y'all need some time to heal. Like, cause you just gonna keep going through the cycle. So it's just, he's going through a lot mentally, and he's taking the wrong approach. So he was just like, I'm tired. He's crying. I'm so sorry. I made you have sex with somebody else. And she's like, no. And he just like gets down and just bawling, y'all. Just, I should not feel so embarrassed. I love you. He's like professing his love for her, okay? So she's at this point, she's like, I don't know what to say. So also, we get word Maurice, he calls and warns Sabrina that Calvin's on his way. Now, if you know he's on his way back over here and Maurice don't warn you, you need to get up and, like, for one, she never watched Jacoby leave. Why? if somebody's in my house, I'm not gonna just tell them leave and I go back in the back room. Girl, you need to see him out, then lock the door. Like, Sabrina be so dumb. I mean, I love the actress that plays her, but that character, I be like, I be giving her the side eye. It's between her and Andy. Between her and Andy, child. I don't know, cause Karen and Danny ain't like that. So then we end up going and we see where Fatima makes it back off her date pretty quickly. Apparently, she makes it back off her date, and the guy, he starts taking his jacket off, trying to get comfortable, and she's just like, okay, well, I'm tired. I gotta go to work in the morning. I'll see you later. And he's just like, what? That ain't never stopped you. I was like, what is this? Honey. No, Tyrone. What you doing? He up here. She was like, well, I'm tired. He's like, well, I'm gonna call you later. She was like, in a week. And he's like, yeah, in a week. Then he tried to leave out, you know, and he ended up leaving his shit. Don't forget your jacket. Don't you know excuses for you trying to come back. Okay, honey. So then she sits here, she finds the money that Zach left that she looked over last time. So Fatima ends up calling him, and she ends up telling him, you know, I know you left this money. You need to come get this money. What's this for? And then she sees where he left the car alarm or something. Like, she left the car alarm on the counter too. So she ends up telling him, like, you know, you need to come get this money, or I'm gonna tape it outside the door. Okay. And he ends up opening up about, like, he tells her, like, yes, like, this is where she needs to listen. He was like, yeah, I am confused. Like, I am confused. And that was my ex. One thing's led to another. Like, she started just kissing me. And I feel him because, you know, you don't just get over somebody that fast. And he did not start a relationship with Fatima. You know, they did start dating and stuff, but she was the one moving. Girl, you know you catch your feelings. You up here and then he in the house with you and you get in on a regular. Like, come on. You know, but I don't fault Fatima because Fatima is smart. She probably like the smartest one on here, like, for real. So I'm not even gonna, you know, get on her like that because I love her. I'm not gonna get on that. So, anyway, Sabrina walks back and she gets back to her house. We get back to her house. She walks into the living room. Jacoby's sitting on the couch. Girl, you didn't sit this man out? What we just saying? Just sitting on the couch. He just, you know, are you sure you want me to leave? You sure you don't want this? I mean, Sabrina, are you sure you want me to? I'm like, bruh. She said leave. Like, that come. Tomorrow's a new day. Maybe she wants you tomorrow. Like, come on. So then they going back and forth about it. She's like, you need to get out. Like, you need to get out. So then Calvin comes in. He stormed through the door. You know, he done. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing in the hallway. Like, this is ridiculous. They had some type of children's tournament down here too. So it's already been loud. Kids been running up in the hallways. It's just throwing me off. I hope y'all can still hear me. I'm sorry. So anyway, Calvin. Okay, sorry y'all. They were vacuuming in the hallway. So anyway, we were talking about Jacoby. So Jacoby's still sitting there, like, going back and forth, and then Calvin busts through the door, honey. He done put his big man drawers on. He done came through the door. I mean, just nostrils flaring, you know, chest poked out. He done ran in there. He's like, you need to get out. Talking to Jacoby, okay? So Jacoby ended up bucking up to him, you know, he getting out of his face, they getting each other's face. And then Sabrina was like in the back, like behind Calvin. She's like, please, 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 please. Like, she pleading for him to just leave, you know, silent pleading to him. And he like looks, like he got this look on his face. Just gonna ignore it. It's not that much trash in the hallway for them to be vacuuming this loud. So anyway, so she's like pleading. So he looks got this crazy look on his face. I had to rewind. I said, what type of look is that? So he looks at her and he looks at Calvin and he just like, okay. So he leaves, but he bumps Calvin. Shoot, I was Calvin right there. I would have, you're not about to bump me. But anyway, so he ends up leaving out just so Calvin can start complaining again. And he's like, sit down. Tell Sabrina, sit down. Like he hollering, you know, he feeling himself now. He pumped up now. Tell her, sit down. And basically tells her, I kind of fast forward some of this because it's the same thing we've been talking about. But he's just like, you need to make your mind up. You need to make your mind up. I'm just like, come on, Calvin. Like, he says all that, like, you need to make your own decisions. Like, you say you're not sure. You say that you're one way. You say you're this way. And then he leaves. You did all that? So now you ain't got nobody at the house. So you need to take that time, Sabrina, and get yourself together, okay? So then Zach, he gets back to Fatima's, and he ends up coming to pick up the money out the door. He knocks on the door. She's like, well, you got like 3 minutes. You got 5 minutes to explain yourself. So he's in there and he's just telling her, like, you know, how he feels. Like, he's like, you know, I asked you, have you ever felt confused? You know? And she was like, yeah. She finally, you know, admitted to it, kind of. And she was just like, you know, you humiliated me. Like, you made me, you know, feel some type of way. And she was just like, I was telling Andy, like, I was telling people about you, like, and then you make me feel stupid, like. And then it's to the point they go back and forth, and she just starts hurting again, and she ends up just telling him to leave. You know, so he leaves again, and she's like, don't forget your keys this time. So then we get back, and they're telling Andy, like, the police is sitting there talking to Andy in her apartment, and they're like, you know, you need to get your restraining order. She's like, I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about that. I'm just like, girl, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about Carrie. I'm like, girl, come on. So they finally end up letting her back to the room. And she's like, I don't want to see him bloody. What you want, Andy? What do you want? Do you want to be back there or you don't want to be back there? You just have to cry because you want to go back there. Now they're telling you can't go back there. Now you don't want to go back there. Girl, come on. Okay? If it was something serious, don't you think, attorney, that they would have carried him out? Okay? Girl, I'm like, come on. So they bring her back, and all we see is her walking around. She gas, and then it cuts off. So I'll be reviewing the next episode, so we can talk about that. But thank you guys for joining me.